Brother Gobb, you really helped me. If after 60 years you hadn't won that towel battle with your wife, you just saved me about 42 years worth of grief. So I'm done with that. I'm fighting with her no more. I'm just going to let her dirty the towels and use them. If you can tell by my accent, well, I ain't from here. I'm from Northeast Georgia. Been in Winter Haven for about 6 years. And God brought us here. My family and I brought us here via Dallas, Texas, where we were studying seminary out there. And we came and we've been able to pastor a little church there in Winter Haven for going on 6 years. And if God will allow me, I'd just soon be there till He's done with me. I got no intentions of going anywhere else. All right. I appreciate that reminder. I like that going list, man. You are a trip. I got to find out the next place you're gonna be because I like listening to you. The going list. Well, I got some good news. You have an opportunity to get on the going list today as a leader of people. As a pastor of men and women, you have an opportunity to sign up, if you've not already signed up, for a particular going list that you need to be on. I pulled up some of the statistics on allpropastors.org. If you hadn't visited the website, you've got all kinds of printed material. Go back and see what Paul and Linda are putting out there for our benefit. Make sure you check some of these things out. On the very first page is some statistics. Shocking statistics. Let me tell you some of these things. And he may have mentioned a few. 1,500 pastors leave the ministry each month. Which one of us is that going to be this month? 4,000 churches begin each year, but over 7,000 churches close. Which one of our churches is going to close? You say, no, not us, Kevin. Really? We're above the statistics? We're outside of that realm of reality? 50% of pastors' marriages will end in divorce. Which one of ours is already headed in that trajectory? It's very possible. 80% of pastors and 84% of their spouses feel unqualified and discouraged in their role as pastors. 80% of seminary and Bible school graduates who enter the ministry will leave within 5 years. Only beat that by 1 year. Who's on their way out this year? Even after multiple years. 90% say the hardest thing about ministry is dealing with uncooperative people. 70% feel grossly underpaid. I'm glad I'm not a part of that 30% that's a bunch of liars, because you know that's why we all feel underpaid. 90% said the ministry was completely different than what they thought it would be. That you thought it was going to be this way. No, you didn't. 80% of pastors' spouses feel their spouse is overworked. You contribute to that? I think I probably do. Maybe I'm not overworked, but she sure thinks I am, given the amount of time I have available for them. 80% of pastors' wives feel left out and unappreciated by the church membership. 80% wish their spouse would choose another profession. 70% of pastors fight depression. I mean, 7 out of 10 of us in here today is fighting depression right now. As called men and women of God. 80% of adult children of pastors surveyed have had to seek professional help for their own depression. Your children, 80%. 70% of pastors do not have close friends, confidants, or mentors. 90% of pastors do not pray regularly with their spouse. 80% of pastors surveyed spend less than 15 minutes a day in prayer, and 70% said the only time they spend studying the Word is when they're preparing for sermons. You're saying, Kevin, I wish I had those statistics. I'd like to refer to them. Allpropastors.org. It's under the byline statistics, and you can have them right there. Go look them, print them, put them beside you so that you can recognize just how susceptible you are to being a statistic. You know why? Because there's not anybody in here that brings anything superhuman to the table. And we all are given the person of the Holy Spirit that is a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. But left to yourself, you'll be a statistic. What's the going list, Kevin? What's the going? Well, for today at the All Pro Pastors Luncheon, it's being on a pastor's champions table. It's signing up today. If you're not already on a table, it's signing up and saying, okay, Kevin, I want to be on the going list. I want to be on the going list of what Paul and Linda are presenting and passionately praying over and passionately trying to get folks to buy into. It's something that we need, and it's something that we got to have, is that accountability and that friendship around ourselves so that we don't become a statistic, or at least that we're prepared to be on the other side of these statistics. In 2010, I got called by a parishioner. I'd just been there for, just about 2.5 years. It's toward the end of 2010. And she said, Kevin, I heard this on the radio. There's going to be something going on over in Lakeland at Victory Church. It's a free pastor's luncheon. And of course, my ears just, they popped up like free lunch, and I qualify. Let's go see what's going on in Victory. And so we rode over there at Lakeland, and we're still within the county, but we rode over there, and I had a chance to meet Paul. And to his credit and to God's glory, God has really blessed All Pro Pastors. He is growing this thing. Because when I went over, I remember you spoke, and it was a little screen, and it was a little projector, and he had a couple little business cards out. It was a country organization at that time. And I get in, man. I walked in. I said, man, this is my kind of place. This is grassroots here. God has blessed, and it's grown. But when I went in there, I knew I needed something. I knew that I was alone. And if you're a pastor, if you're a minister, you know it's one of the most lonely opportunities in serving God there is. It's lonely because you feel like an island, and you're predisposed to make yourself an island, a hermit, so to speak. And so I walked in there and I thought, man, I sure do need something. But that's because I had a feeling of need. Some of y'all don't know that you need. You might not be even willing to express what you need. I'm telling you, you need to have pastors around you who will speak into you and who will love you and give you an opportunity to love in a vulnerable and an authentic way for your benefit and theirs, so that we stay off this statistical list. But I knew I needed it. I could feel it. Before I was done listening to what Paul was sharing, I knew it was something I had to have. You say, Kevin, what's the difference between needing something and having to have it? I needed it, and I felt it inside, and maybe you do too. But even when we don't feel something, even when we don't recognize we need it, there's some things we got to have. And what I'm here to tell you is that I believe in All Pro Pastors. I believe in the Champions Table, not because it looks and sounds like a good idea, but because I've experienced it. In 2010, I signed up. I did what you're going to have an opportunity to do if you've never been a part. I took a risk, and I wrote my name down, and I gave my address and my email, and I said, I'm in Winter Haven. Paul says, well, we're in Lakeland today, but I got some guys in Winter Haven that might like to get together. They've been talking about wanting to get together, and I need to put you with them. But Kevin, this is going to be new in Winter Haven, because this is going on in Plant City, and now this is going to be something else. So we're going to have to hustle to get these guys together, because I don't know, and it took a long time. It took a gracious long time to get a bunch of guys together. But Nolan Edwards was one of those guys that I met. So I'm going to ask Nolan if he'll come sit with me at the table, because we want to show you kind of what it looks like. And if you're a part of a Champions Table, you say, Kevin, I'm already a part of a Champions Table. You put your hand up so I can see it. Okay, anybody? All right, right there. And who else? Who else a part? You come on, help me too, because we need you to sneak spot. Anybody else? No? You're part of a Champions Table? Come on up. Help me, your name?
Rich.
Jesse? Good to meet you. I'm Kevin. And what's your name? Richard. Kevin. Good to meet you. Y'all just pick a chair and put me wherever you want. A Champions Table. What is it? Well, it doesn't quite look like that. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit nervous right thinking about these things holding me up. It's gonna hold you. Y'all well insured, right? Okay. What is a Champions Table? What does it look like? It's like a bunch of guys getting together with first names. Last names are great, and it's helpful for the emails. It's helpful for keeping track of which Kevin you're talking about, and it'll be helpful on your list of contacts to know who it is that's texting you. But it's looking around the table and realizing that it's not pastor and father and bishop. It's not all of these. It's just buddies sitting around the table. And I can tell you, this guy right here, Nolan Edwards, he is a pastor of a dynamic church. I'd love to tell you all about what he's doing. I'll let him do that one of these days. What I can tell you is that Nolan is my buddy. And he's somebody that I didn't know before the Champions Table got started. You say, what do you do at this champions table? Well, we commit to getting together at least once a week. That's the goal, is once a week getting together. And we get together every week without fail. Right, Noble? we try. And there's a lot of days that don't work out like that, because he'll have something and I'll be sitting there. I'm just saying, I've spent a lot of days alone. I really need some sympathy. I've sat at the table and I've waited on my God. No, seriously. We get together. We set it on our calendar. It's a part of our normal week. And it takes a while to get going. It's hard to get it going. It's even harder to keep it going. You know why? Because the enemy knows that this right here is the going list for helping keep us off the statistical list. I don't want to be on that list. But everything, the gates of hell are lined up against us because the enemy does not want us to be what God will use us to be. He wants to be what we will become all by ourselves. Now, you know who you are all by yourself. I know you know who you are because I know who I am all by myself. I don't want to be that. You know what? I want to be who God has designed me to be.
Lord.
And it takes the body to do that. So here's what we do. We get together, we sit around, we start getting to know one another. We start finding out not whether or not you guys do elder form of government, or it don't matter if y'all do congregation. Y'all let women pastor your church? That ain't what we do.
Right.
We get together and we find out how many kids you got. How long y'all been married? You know, where y'all from? And what passion has God given you? Hey, let me tell you about some things about me, man. I ain't that smart. I know I know my accent makes it sound like I got a lot of brains. But I really ain't as smart as I sound. You know, I got a lot of learning to do, right? We get together and we get to know one another. I know that Nolan is an avid hunter. He loves to hunt, and he loves to hunt with a bow. And I know that about him, not because I go listen to him preach, because I know who he is. I know he loves his wife. You know what he's helped me with? He's helped me recognize some struggles that I have within my marital relationship, relating to a person who's nothing like me and sees nothing like I see it and don't even come at things in the direction I come at it. I know that's not a problem y'all got, but it is a problem I have. And getting to know Nolan, I found out, hey, he's got those same kind of things. And God still wants to use him. Maybe he still wants to use me too. It's an environment where I can go, Richard, I don't know about you, but there is this one lady, and I just got to tell you, man, I'm still a man. I love my wife. She's the most beautiful thing in the world to me. But there is this one lady, and she always wants to come get in my space. You know what I mean? And she just, on the way out, I'm just telling you, it's a struggle to bounce my eye. I need you to pray for me on that. I need you to remember. I need you to, hey, here's what I'm going to give you the permission to do. Next week, I want you to ask me if I made a point to see her coming and go on the other side of the church. I want to make sure that you're asking me that I'm doing it. Because you know what I don't want to be in? A compromising situation. Amen. You know what's going to happen if I'm all alone and left to myself? You know what I'm going to do on a bad day when I'm thinking my wife don't care nothing about me, and I'm thinking she don't want to be with me, and I'm thinking I'm just the most pitiful person in the world because I got all this to give and nobody give to me. You know what I'll do? I just might look for her to come and stand in my space. I don't want to be that. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open myself up to you guys. I want you to ask me the hard questions. And that don't come easy. In fact, we've been meeting for now right at 2 years, just a little over 2 years. And Nolan can tell you, we're still learning how to be vulnerable with one another. We're still learning who can take more accountability than the others. But you know what we're doing every week? We're getting closer and closer to greater levels of vulnerability and authenticity where we can be real with one another and we can be open with one another. And not only can we speak, but we can listen to one another. We don't get together, we don't study the Bible. And we'd be fighting over who'd get to exegete the passage. We don't do that. We don't talk about whose church is better. In fact, we try not to talk about a whole lot of what's going on. But it's an environment where we can talk about our burdens. It's an environment where we can say, you know, I'm just discouraged. I'm hurting. I'm down. I don't feel like that I'm getting anywhere in my study. My personal devotions are in the tank. My prayer life is out the window. I don't feel like God could use me if He tried. It's an environment where it's safe and it's protected. And it's where we can be real. And we can have others be real with us. If you're sitting here today and you say, boy, I need that. And I've got some exciting news for you. The Go Enlist is right back with Brother Paul and Miss Linda. They've got to go enlist for you. All you got to do is let them know. They'll do all the work of finding folks to get around you. But it'll take a risk. We don't like to risk. It'll take another risk to meet that first time. We don't enjoy it. It'll take another risk to continue to meet. Well, I got too much to do. Maybe you don't feel like you need it. Let me tell you, you've got to have it. You might feel the need right now, or you may say, you know what, Kevin, I just don't really have that struggle. Well, then you got to have it more than anybody else. Because you're just about to be a statistic. You right there, the enemy has got the bait right in front of you, and he is going to yank that hook in your mouth. And you're going to wish you'd had a bunch of guys around you. So, what is a champion's table? It's a table where not just one guy's talking, but where a guy's saying, what's going on? What's up, Jesse? Well, how's your week going, man? How's your relationship with your wife, man? Nolan, hey, you remember you was talking the other week, man, you was really burdened about that direction you was looking for. I mean, God giving you any clarity? I mean, you know, Richard, you was talking about your daughter. You know, and how she's in that relationship. And you don't really know how to handle it. She's in that relationship with that guy, and you just want to kill him. You know you can't. You know, how you and your wife working through that. And so where they can go, Kevin, hey, look, you talking about you having trouble praying with your wife. How's that going, man? Well, you know, it's about to say, and they have the freedom to say, well, you gonna step up, do something, or you just gonna keep coming in here whining every week. I'm gonna do something. And then we get together and we call ourselves to be champions. Because I believe that's what God wants us to do. I agree with Paul. He wants us to be champions. The Go Enlist is here. If you need it, get on it. If you don't need it, you gotta have it. Get on it anyway. Paul, thank you for allowing me an opportunity to share.